This is one of the greatest honors of my life. I have introduced candidates and politicians, and I've always had to do it thinking, okay, let's just get this one over with. This is a thrill. I met Sam Hoyt at a table in Albany when I went to lobby, my first lobby visit to the Capitol after I'd moved to New York. And we sat down, and I didn't know who he was. No idea. Just a nice guy, and he came and sat down to eat lunch with us. And I found out who he was, and I had prepared this letter. Spent days working on this letter, and I handed the letter off to Sam, and I said, I need you to read this. I need you to read this. This is why marriage is important to my family. It talked about my parents and their heritage and their beliefs, and my father's belief in this government, and my father's belief in this country, and the willingness of my grandfather, my father, and my brothers to fight in the war for this country. First World War, Second World War, Vietnam, they all gave themselves, all so that I could have equality and share in that dream. And I figured, he said, thank you, I will, and he folded it up and stuck it in his pocket, and I thought, typical politician. I know where that's going, that round circular file next to his desk. And I didn't even get home from Albany, and I had already been emailed about this. And he poured his heart out to me about how much he loved his father and the direction his father gave him. That was my first glimpse of Sam Hoyt. And I found out from there that this man has fought tirelessly for LGBT individuals. Not just individuals, but LGBT children, LGBT families. Recently there were hate crimes that dirtied our streets and made our neighborhoods unsafe. And I got a phone call saying, Kitty, what can I do? And I said, we're working on a forum. Would you be willing to be there? I'll be there. Sam flew back into town and he attended the forum and announced that one of our greatest concerns was the way that individuals are treated after they've been abused. And our senator didn't do a thing, but our assemblyman championed and is championing legislation aimed at educating officers on how to deal with lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered individuals when a crime is committed against them. That speaks volumes to this man's understanding of the needs of our community. Marriage. This man understands I lose everything if I lose my partner. He understands what it's like for me to be locked out of the room when I take her to the hospital because I am not the next of kin. He understands that I go nowhere without that piece of paper in my pocket to prove my relationship to the woman I have 5 children and 12 grandchildren with. This man has been a champion all the way. And when the Senate voted no, he cried with me on the phone when I called him and said, Sam, tell me it's not true. Tell me they didn't vote this down. And he said, I am so sorry. Yes, they did. And he was genuine in his words. That's what this man is. He is genuine. He loves this city. He loves the people here. He knows every one of you. He knows every street. He knows every single issue. This man is not just a legislator. He is a statesman. I am honored to be here, and I am proud to tell you that Outspoken for Equality and the LGBT organization that I represent and its members are 100% behind Sam Hoyt.
Thank you, Maria. I want to talk about results. I could speak about Sam's support of charter schools and the impact on my family. I could talk about his support on environmental issues and the quality of our community. But I'm here today to talk about results, one of Sam's greatest achievements of all, his legacy legislation in historic preservation that is producing results here in this neighborhood, here in Buffalo, Niagara, and all across New York State. It's putting historic preservation into the streets, economic development into our downtowns, and revitalization of our neighborhoods through creating jobs at a time when we need jobs. Now, Sam Hoyt's unique. He works with business and labor. He works with big developers. He works with ordinary citizens cleaning up their streets. And he produces results $400,000 for Upper West Arts Center, a nationally significant conversion of an abandoned church into a performing arts center that's producing jobs. Sam has secured $100 million to breathe new life into the Richardson Olmsted Center that the state abandoned. Did you hear that? $100 million. And already, skilled tradesmen are there putting that Richardson complex back together. Sam Hoyt made that happen, and the best is yet to come. Sam's historic rehabilitation tax credit legislation provides incentives to the downtown developer, the neighborhood activist, the ordinary citizen in an historic house by providing a state tax credit after the investment has been made. The Senate passed it unanimously. The Assembly passed it unanimously. The governor came here to Sam Hoyt's district to sign it. Why? Because they know when we need jobs in New York State and our legislators and our governor in Albany could not produce stimulus legislation, they all got behind this because this legislation will produce jobs. Sam Hoyt produces results. I know this firsthand. Clint Brown companies already had to hire another historic preservation specialist to take on the work that's coming through because of this legislation. We'll have to hire another one this summer. That's results. Now, you've read about this law's needing improvements. The governor bowed to Sam's demands to make those improvements. You may have heard that this week. But let me put it in perspective. Even the U.S. Constitution needed some improvements once it was put to use. And those amendments are called the Bill of Rights. It only got better. But there's still some work to do. That's why we got to send them back to Albany to finish that work and to produce even more jobs here in Buffalo, Niagara, and across New York State. So I'm here to speak on behalf of one of the greatest legislative achievements that will have a legacy impact for Sam Hoyt and for everybody by putting the home handyman to work fixing the porch, by putting the mechanic to work replacing that furnace for a more energy efficient house, by putting skilled laborers to work at the top of the Richardson Towers. I'm here because Sam Hoyt has produced results in historic preservation, quality of life, and jobs. Thank you.